Welcome back to another Believeland Media interview. I am Kevin Sleds, and with me tonight is Southeast Athletic Director and football coach Pat Youel. How you doing, Pat?
Hey, I'm doing well, Kevin. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you coming on. So wanted to bring you on for a few minutes to talk to you. Big announcement came down Friday that Southeast was leaving the Portage Trail Conference and heading to the Mahoning Valley Athletic Conference for the 2024-2025 school year. Just how did that all come about, and what was the thinking of making that move?
So I mean, it's an exciting decision for us, but a bittersweet decision. So it's been something that has maybe been in the works. I don't know if people know this or not. When Garrettsville was accepted, I think in 2018 or a few years ago, we applied at that time. Our then athletic director, Steve Sigworth, who's now our high school principal, and our superintendent, Bob Dunn, applied. And they elected to choose Garrettsville, and they gave us some good feedback of it wasn't, really anything we did. Garfield just had a long-standing relationship with a lot of the schools out that way. They've been playing LeBray and Champion and Newton Falls and multiple sports. And so we knew that was something that, hurt us. We obviously were banner members of the Portage Trail Conference. And so we went back and we continued to do what we needed to do or try to make something happen with that conference. All while keeping an eye on the MVAC. And then, to be fair, we started to develop some of those relationships with the MVAC schools. I believe we've played every MVAC school except for Springfield local in all the different sports, not in all the sports, obviously, but, just to develop some of those relationships if something ever came to be. We've been a part of every conversation there has been of, enhancing the PTC or rebooting the old PCL. Probably people don't know this, but the first ever meeting, it was kind of, I don't want to say a secret meeting, but when Greg Eisler and Tom Nader and Brittany Dye were trying to revamp the Portage Trail Conference or the PCL, that first meeting happened in the conference room right next to where I'm sitting right now, with a lot of folks from Portage County. So, it's not something that we're thrilled about doing, but at the end of the day, we have to look out for the best interests of our kids, our student athletes, and our community. And when this opportunity for consistency and an 8-team league came to be, when Sebring decided to go to 8-man football, it was an email we sent. And we sent that email to John Mang, I believe, late October, early November, Bob Dunn and I, with heavy hearts. And I know people maybe won't believe that, but it is. And then we heard nothing until January. And then John Mang kind of reached out and said, we've got your application. And at that point, we did submit a formal letter, from Bob and I stating our interest to that. And then, February came and they had some meetings, their superintendents, athletic directors. And again, it was nice because a lot of the athletic directors that had been, Jim Flegger and Mike DeVise, obviously knowing them very well from their time in the Portage, County League. But then other ADs that I built the relationships with out in the Mahoning Valley area, they became very helpful in some of those things. And obviously then the vote came down, I want to say the 21st or the 22nd, superintendents voted us in. And then we got the call on Friday, February 23rd or 22nd, whatever the days are. I don't really know. They're running together now. But, John Mang, the commissioner of the league, called Bob and I and Steve Sigworth and offered us a place in the gray tier. And, we needed to make sure that everything was done properly. We presented to our Board of Education last Monday. Kind of got the green light from them, and then obviously wanted to be in step with the MVAC and their press release. And John felt that was the right time to do that on Friday. So he dropped the press release at that time. And here we are. So we are members of the gray tier in 2024, 2025.
Okay. So you mentioned that the PCL from back in the day, now in the PTC, Mogadore and Richtown are the only two schools that will remain in that league that were in the original PCL. With the mass exodus over the last few years of a lot of the Portage teams going elsewhere, did that have a big factor playing into this, eventually leaving?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and really, just not the mass exodus or what specific teams. I mean, we're a league of 6 teams. And so again, the 3 biggest factors for the MVAC for us, and this is what we presented to the board, was enrollment. We fit, sports offered. We offer every sport that the MVAC does, and then obviously travel. And in the article there was an article written, and we have an outlier. So we're in the MVAC, our travel to the 7 other gray tier schools is 28.7 minutes. Our travel currently in our league is 25 minutes. We do have one outlier, and that is Crestview would be a 44-minute drive for us. So that obviously skews the average, and that would be a haul. But we did it in the playoffs a few years ago, and it wasn't a great drive, but it is what it is. And but I think that travel time gets skewed a little bit too, because you're only playing 4 football games in league, and you're only playing 12 league games in basketball. So, or excuse me, 10 league games in basketball. So when you're finding 6 non-league football games, I mean, we've driven to Willard, as in football, finding 12 non-league basketball games is difficult, especially when these leagues are flip-flopping now too, some playing on Mondays and Thursdays half the year and so on. And so if you really broke it down, I mean, we went to Kent Central Catholic to play girls basketball game this year. That was an hour and 10-minute drive. So those things became important, where most of our travel in the gray tier will be about a 20 to 25-minute drive. And there are some plans that the MVAC are putting together, especially for our middle school student athletes, where it'll be more geographic based. They're still working through some of those things. And obviously we won't partake in that this coming school year, but we will the following year. So, that way our middle school athletes will still be given, full schedules, but also, we might just drive down the road to Jackson Milton, which touches our school district, rather than, going to, Canton or St. Thomas, on a Monday night for those guys, or for those, middle school student athletes. So, again, those 3 things became very critical to us. Again, enrollment, sports offered, and travel, and obviously just the sustainability of, can we continue to do this with the sports being offered and the teams being offered, in the PTC, just lack of numbers and those types of things in certain programs, and just have to do what's best for our student athletes at the end of the day.
So what do you think the biggest benefit will be for your athletic program, making the move going forward after in 2024, 2025?
Yeah, just the consistency of knowing, okay, we're going to have 7 league football games. We're going to be finding weeks 1 through 3. Not trying to, rush and be scared of not having a week 5 football game, or not having a week 8 football game, or a week 10 football game. And, that there are very few teams that are in that same position. We've been lucky, in football, at least, to fill those non-league schedules with competitive matchups. But it's becoming more difficult, and those types of things, in boys and girls basketball and soccer. You give me an example, like I think there's 8 or 9, maybe 10 girls soccer schools, or schools that offer soccer in the MVAC. So, that league will be very solid. We won't be finding, non-league games. We've had issues where, are there enough players on certain, girls teams to play a soccer game? And so those types of things as you go forward. And so just the consistency, the stability of the MVAC, knowing that there's 17 schools in the conference between the gray and scarlet tier. As an AD, I'm not going to lie, it's really appealing to know that there's probably a much easier opportunity to schedule non-league contests with the gray, or with the scarlet tier as well. But then also, like I said, and the sports that aren't going to be tiered, having those games be scheduled, and then just, again, the competitiveness. I had a parent come to me at our board meeting last night and just said, it'll be balanced. There'll be a lot of parity, we think, and it's good. Everybody's around the same size. I think if I remember right, and I don't have the sheet in front of me, but in girls basketball, I believe everyone is Division III. or no, in boys basketball, everyone in the gray tier is Division III. Everyone in girls basketball is Division III, except for Newton Falls, and they're Division IV. In girls basketball, football, everyone's either D5 or D6. Everyone in soccer was D3. Everyone, so again, everything was equal in those. I think we're fifth. I think we're fifth in boys enrollment off the last OHSAA count in the NVAC, and our girls are the largest enrollment in the NVAC based off this last count. So we just fit in those three areas, and that was just again enrollment, competitiveness, sports offered for all of our programs in high school and middle school all the way through, and then just the ability to travel close and those types of things. That those became as we did our research and as we did our due diligence, those became the deciding factors for us.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you breaking it down for us. And before I let you go, couple things. I know the winter sports season here is wrapping up. You had a young man who had a pretty special season for the boys basketball, and Garrett Sprudy, only player in Portage County to average a double-double and over 21 points and 11 rebounds a game. How special was his season this year?
Yeah, Garrett's an animal. I mean, he's a great player. He works his craft really hard, and obviously, scoring points and rebounding. He hits the offensive glass like very few players I've seen, in my 9 years here or at the high school level. So just had a tremendous season for us, and obviously was an integral part of the success we had, this year. But yeah, I just think whenever you score 21 points and have 10 or 11 rebounds on average, that's just an incredible year. And he's only going to get better. The good news for us is he's only a junior, so he'll be back. I think Mike said he's maybe 250 or 275 points away from hitting the 1,000-point club. So that's as long as he stays healthy, and he works hard at his body and he works hard at his craft. So no doubts that'll happen. So we'll be adding a name to a banner in our gym next winter at some point when he scores his 1,000th point. And again, just a good kid too. He walks our halls like he's just any other kid. You know what I mean? He doesn't walk around like he's just a great kid. Works hard at his game, and obviously had a tremendous season.
Yeah, it was a great season, and he was fun to watch. Covering him a couple times, I got to interview him. So yeah, he does seem like a great kid. So it's good to see, and hopefully I'll be there for the 1,000th point next year.
Yeah. I'll let you know when he's close. When he gets close, we'll send you a message there.
Definitely. So. And then lastly, obviously, you're the varsity football coach. So how are we looking coming into the 2023 season? Oh,
man. Yeah, heck, we didn't even, our kids are working pretty hard. The thing about here, and it's a wonderful thing. We have a lot of multi-sport athletes. So we have a lot of kids playing basketball, getting better, working their craft at that. And now in the spring, we've got track, baseball, and lacrosse here at Southeast. So, we have a ton of kids playing, those three sports. And I truly believe that you get one ride in high school. So, we're not, obviously the weight room's open and our kids, get their work done, but we want them to go be, multi-sport athletes and enjoy those things. And, so I'm not a stickler on if you're not in the weight room, you're in the weight room if you're not in a sport, you know what I mean? And then if you want to come in and do those things, but, the biggest thing for us will be, we've got to develop some depth up front. We have some sophomores that we'll need to have develop some depth, but, we returned 9 guys on offense and 8 guys on defense that started significant roles last year. So, we're excited. Some of our young guys that really got a taste of some things last year are hungry and are working really, really hard, and their bodies are starting to grow and develop and those types of things. And, my coaching staff is all coming back. And I think this will be the first time. I've had my core with me for the last 4 or 5 years of coaches. But this might be the first year where every single one of our members are coming back.
Oh, wow.
With that. So I think that continuity and consistency is huge. And then obviously we've been able to put together a schedule that we feel is very beneficial. You're very competitive, and so there's some really good teams on it, but we feel like we match up well with those teams. And again, when you're trying to find 6 non-league football games, finding those competitive matchups in weeks 4, 5, and 6. I'm not saying we're going to win them. They're going to probably put that on their bulletin board in Minerva. But it's a good football game for us. It's a good matchup. It'll be competitive. They'll be much better. And again, we played so many young kids. We had a really good senior class that's graduating. We'll lose some key pieces to that, but there were only 10 of them. And so when you only have 10 seniors in a class, that makes for a lot of underclassmen who had to play and step up. So, yeah, like you said, it's really early to start speculating some things, but our kids are working hard and we're making our preparations, and we got a long way to go. But as crazy as it sounds, we're in the first or second week of March here, and before you know it, baseball season will be kicking off, and then before you know it, spring sports will be over. We'll be holding banquets, and graduation will hit June 2nd, and then it'll be here before we know it. So, and again, our kids are going to work hard, and we're going to give it everything we got all fall long. I know that much.
All right. I appreciate you taking a few minutes to come on with me, and we're looking forward to covering some spring sports, and I'll definitely be seeing you next football season for sure.
But Kevin, I just appreciate all you guys do at Believeland. It's an awesome entity, and I, between you guys and what Tommy Nader's doing and Jonah, I mean, you guys are giving voice to Portage County sports and our student athletes, and so honestly, it's an awesome thing you guys are doing, not just for Portage County. I know you guys cover a lot of different areas, but I know you're a Portage County guy at heart with your kids at Garrettsville there, and I know Joe is as well, and you guys are a big part. So I think those ties are huge to help our our programs and our schools in Portage County. And again, it is sad that we're all kind of going separate ways and different things, but hopefully someday, we can all get back together and those things are, because in 19 years I've been in Portage County, I've never played anything but the PTC or the PCL, and I don't know anything different. So, but we are excited to have this opportunity. I think our programs are excited, our kids are excited, and it'll be great. But thank you guys at Believeland for having me on tonight and for all you do for Portage County sports and student athletes.
I appreciate that. It's our pleasure, and looking to do it up even bigger this year. So
cool.
All right. Appreciate it, Pat. Have a good night.
Thanks, bud.